Jai Hind cadets, myself DR Sonone, Defense Career Academy Aurangabad. I hope you have seen my first video from atom and nuclei. In that we have completed the hypothesis made by the Bohrs, that is 3 hypotheses, and on that hypothesis there are the concept to find out the radius of that orbit of any atom. That orbit is also known as Bohr's orbit because the specification of the orbit is given by the atomic model of Bohr's. So today we are going to see the concept of radius of Bohr's orbit. यदि हम लोगों ने कंसिडर किया कि हम लोग न्यूक्लियस से फर्स्ट ऑर्बिट, सेकेंड ऑर्बिट, थर्ड ऑर्बिट और अल्टीमेटली आगे वाले ऑर्बिट तक जाएंगे तो रेडियस ये प्रोपोर्शन में बढ़ता है या फिर इन अप्रोप्रिएट मैनर में बढ़ता है, या फिर हम लोग को ये देखना है कि जो प्रोपोर्शन है वो किस तरीके का है, उसका ऑर्बिट नंबर के साथ, जिसको हम लोग क्वांटम नंबर भी बोलते हैं, उसके साथ रिलेशन क्या है. तो ये बोर्स के पोस्टुलेट हम लोग इसमें यूज करने वाले हैं टू फाइंड आउट द रेडियस ऑफ बोर्स ऑर्बिट. So see here, we know that the postulate or we can say hypothesis of Bohr's, उसमें से हम लोग postulate consider करते हैं second postulate. Second postulate था कि electron are stable in the orbit only when two forces, one force that is attractive type of force, means attraction of the proton, positive charge proton from the nucleus, and the electron, that is attractive type of electrostatic force. And second force, due to circular motion, the centrifugal force applied on the electron, that both the forces are balancing each other, that's why that electron are moving stably in the orbit. So here is the second postulate. We know that the electrostatic force of attraction is nothing but is equals to centrifugal force. The electrostatic force that we have derived in the previous video, that is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught E square upon R square, electrostatic force of attraction, and then centrifugal force is nothing but the mv square by R here. Right? If we write this formula for V, then we get V equals to we are writing here for V square. First of all, we get 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught E square, here R square and R is cancel, E square upon M R. This is the equation for V square. If we consider the second postulate, first postulate, according to the first postulate, we know that angular momentum of the electron should be nh upon 2 pi. We know that angular momentum is also linear momentum into r, that is p into r, and p is nothing but the mv. So mvr equals to nh by 2 pi. In this way we can write. Again, for formula of V, we can write here NH upon 2 pi into MR here. If we square this equation, V square equals to, we get N square H square upon 4 pi square M square R square. If we give this equation number 1, this is equation number 2. These two are the postulates of Bohr's. If we compare the velocity in this equation and velocity in this equation, that is same. If we compare the left hand side of the equation, we will get, so comparing equation 1 and equation 2, we will get V square, that is equals to here 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught E square upon MR here is equals to, here is N square H square upon 4 pi square M square R square. Right? If we cancel here the same term, square cancel, M cancel here, again 4 cancel, pi and square is also cancel here, R and R square is cancelled. Right? If we write this equation for R, radius of Bohr's orbit, then we will get R equals to r will be here, another term we will write there. First of all, here is n square, then h square upon, we can write, here is epsilon naught as it is, so we can write epsilon naught here. Then second term here is m, so we can write here m. Then pi is also there, pi. E square will be here, e square. So other terms are as it is and cancelled out. So formula becomes h square epsilon naught pi m e to the power 2. Here we can, if you see, h is constant, Planck's constant, epsilon naught is also constant, permittivity of free space, pi is constant, mass of electron is also constant, and charge of electron also constant. If we consider all these terms, these are the constant. Only variable is what here? N. N is nothing but the orbit number or quantum number. It means if we write this formula for nth number of orbit, then we can write here Rn proportional to n square. So this is the relation between radius of Bohr's orbit and the quantum number. If we write this formula for different consecutive radius, then we can write here Rn. If we put here n equals to 1, for n equals to 1, we will get the value of these terms, constant terms, that is in Armstrong unit. That will be the radius of first orbit. Radius of first orbit. So n equals to here 1. So r1 will be, what may be the value, that is calculation based. Then we can write the last formula, that is equals to r1 into n square. If we multiply r1 with the n square, we will get the nth number of turn, or we can get the radius of nth term. So Rn, if we have to calculate, for example, radius of fourth orbit, then we will write here value of r1, that is constant, into n is what? 4 square. 4 square means what? 16. So 16 into r1 will be our radius of fourth orbit. So this is the relation of radius of Bohr's orbit with the quantum number, that is Rn proportional to n square. If we draw a graph of this, we will get, this graph shows the relation of parabola, that is equals to y equal to mx square, n square is there, and here is Rn. If you draw the graph of Rn versus n square, we will get parabolic graph here. So this is enough for now. I hope you will understand the concept of radius of Bohr's orbit and relation of that radius of Bohr's orbit with the quantum number. In next video, we will see the velocity of the electron in Bohr's orbit. So thank you. Have a nice day.